The problem is the Iranian ambition to govern the Middle East. They supplied the rockets to Hezbollah. They supplied the rockets to Hamas. They are controversial in the Arab making. And you know what? We didn't have a choice. The leader of Hezbollah, Nasrallah, says, would I know that Israel will react so strongly, we wouldn't start it. Thank you very much. And then come Mashal, the leader of Hamas, and said, Israel reacted too strongly. What did they expect us to do? I don't understand. What would any country do? What would you do if you would have on Istanbul every night 10 rockets or 100 rockets? And we never gave up. All my life, as you said, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate, I'm fighting for peace. What we did is not the thing that we wanted to do. It's not our choice. Our choice is peace. What we did is because the lack of a choice. We weren't left with a choice. Would you go for such a convention to kill the Jews? Okay, those are words. But to kill the Jews and send rockets to kill them. What do you want us to do? I started to negotiate with Mr. Arafat. I must respect. It wasn't simple. The PLO was at the beginning a terroristic organization. Mr. Arafat agreed to stop terror and go to negotiations. By the way, whatever was achieved positively was achieved not by rockets, not by force, not by power, but by negotiation. It takes time, it takes time. It's a very complicated country. It's a small country with 3 religions, with a lot of history, with different ethnicities. It's not simple. We made peace once, twice. Now we are negotiating with the Palestinians. There was a crisis among the Palestinians. We don't intend to be the one that decides if the Palestinians will be united or not. As long as Hamas did not rebel against the Fatah, it wasn't our business. We didn't say a word. You know what? I'm talking about Israel. Look what the people of the Palestinian people, the Secretary General of Fatah is saying about Hamas 3 days ago. His name is Asser Abed-Rabo, a person that I know and respect, who is the Secretary General of the PLO Executive Committee. And I quoted him. I quote him 3 days ago. Hamas has turned Gaza schools, mosques, all universities into centers of detention, interrogation, and torture. Dozens have been shot in the legs, beaten savagely, and had their bones broken. Hamas only to support broken. Hamas plundered trucks, bringing and distributes it only to the food, only to the supporters of their movement. They didn't give food to the people of Fatah. They killed 100 leaders of Fatah in full daylight. They throw them from the roofs. What do you really mean? Is that a matter of definitions? Israel does not want to shoot anybody. For us, all children are as important as one can think of. I created a Paris Center. All the money we have collected went to the cure of children, Palestinian children. They didn't have insurance, they didn't have hospitals. In 5 years, we brought to Israel 5,500 Palestinian children and their mothers to be cured. By the way, there is no hospital today in Israel that doesn't have Arab doctors. So the children could have communicate with the doctors in the Israeli hospitals. That is our choice, to touch a child. But if you put bombs in a kindergarten, and if you hide yourself behind innocent families, and before we we tried to shell anybody. We telephoned the people. We says, please leave the place. We don't want to hurt you. We made during those 20 days 250,000 telephone calls before we shoot. What could we do? What was our choice? And what would any government do? I'm very much sorry, Mr. Secretary General, about the United Nations building. According to our record, they start, not by your knowledge, they started to shoot from there. And by the way, when Europe bombed Kosovo, you hit the Chinese embassy. Did you want to? And hundreds of civilian people were killed in the bombing too. Okay. So please, I want to speak clearly. Israel does not need a ceasefire because we never started a bullet, and we shall never do it. And the minute they'll stop shooting, there will be a ceasefire. We don't need anything else. Every moment, every day. We are not interested in fire. We are not interested in hurting or killing anybody. Now about the peace process. First of all, I want to say that it was a great move on the side of the Secretary General of the Arab League to introduce the Arab Initiative. I think that was a very positive move in a bitter history of misunderstanding and confrontations. The problems we were facing were the following. A, we started to negotiate directly with the Palestinians. President Mubarak told me, look, finish your negotiations with the Palestinians, we shall consider as the first move to an overall peace. We are negotiating, and I think we made headway in an extremely complicated issue. Take only the issue of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is not a piece of land. Jerusalem is fire. There are 3 different religions, and there are different streams in every religion. And people are fighting about every window, every door. It's easy to say, make an agreement. We are trying to find a way. We told the Palestinians that we are ready really to accept 242 and 338, which means really to return almost all of the land of the West Bank to them. Gaza we left completely. What is there to fight? So the ceasefire is, as far as it is concerned, is not a problem for us. We shall never start fire. And when they fired against us, we replied, but after a great restraint, and thousands of people were killed too. They weren't killed in a concentrated manner, so what? Doesn't matter. Now I think what we have to do, and by the way, I am for the restoration of Gaza. We have nothing. There wasn't a day that we didn't supply water and oil. There wasn't I personally read every week a report about the humanitarian situation in Gaza. If something is missing, the government and myself, we are intervening to make sure there will be enough food and food. The tragedy of Gaza is not Israel. It's Hamas, who created their dictatorship, a very ugly one. And they build the problem of the crossing now is not because we want to control the supply of food or building material or medical. They build tunnels to bring in those missiles. And they build an underground system of tunnels where, by the way, the leaders hide themselves there and they forgot the people. I think, yes, we would like to see Gaza flourishing. Gaza is a small place with an intelligent people. When we started to talk with Mr. Arafat, we took as an example Singapore. Gaza, together with the West Bank, are 9 times larger than Singapore. In Singapore, there are more people than in Gaza in the West Bank. Today, the problem is not land, but really education And Gaza is not our enemy, and the people in Gaza are not our enemies. And we want to live with them in peace. We don't have hatred and we don't have plans. For that reason, we left Gaza. And we are for restoring the life in Gaza, but without dictators and without shooting not only us, but the people of Fatah.